My name is Sandy Daly, and I'm here to tell you a story. It's a story about leaving a life of domestic violence behind. But it's not only about that. As I'm telling the story, I would like you to keep in mind for yourself that every tool that I used to change my life back then, I have used in other areas of my life to improve things, to get myself, so I have a dream of losing weight. I apply these tools as I'm doing that. I really wanted to quit smoking. I used these tools to quit smoking. Um, Building a business. What do you want? When I talk about destination, ending up where you're headed, apply this to yourself, to your own situation. I really urge you to do that because, the story that I'm going to share is powerful and really, it's an interesting story. But the tools, the practices that I used in it do not have to only apply in a domestic violence situation. That's my main point that I want to make right now. So, when I was 34 years old, I was in an abusive relationship that was the last abusive relationship in a long line of abusive relationships. I had beliefs that kept me stuck in that life because as a child, I was taught that I would never be anything more than a victim. I was taught that I was put on this planet to be a victim. And so I believed that about myself. So here I was at the age of 34. I had already had 3 surgeries on my face, corrective surgery. Now I've had a total of 5 reconstructive. The last 2 were reconstructive. And that I had to have those surgeries because of damage done from domestic violence. So I in this last relationship at this time that I'm going to be talking about, I had left this man 6 times and gone back 6 times because I didn't feel like I had a choice. So that's where I was. I had just come back for the 6th time. And I was watching TV one day. It was a Sunday. It was September 19th, 1999. It was a Sunday. It was 3:30 in the afternoon. I will never, ever, ever forget it. I turned on my television, and I was living in Portland, Oregon at the time, and I was flipping through the channels. I landed on Oregon Public Broadcasting just in time to hear this woman say that we all deserve to have our dreams come true. And I thought she was nuts. I kept watching because she had my attention. And almost the next thing she said was, she was quoting Lao Tzu, and she said, if you continue down the road you're on, you're going to end up where you're headed. And just like that, I saw where I was headed. I had never, ever looked at it that way before. I saw where I was headed, and I was headed for a graveyard or a wheelchair. And either one of those things was going to be at his hands. So my destination is I'm going to die at the hands of a man who constantly and repeatedly tells me that he loves me. And that caught my attention. And my thought was, this happened in a split second. She said, if you continue down the road you're on, you're going to end up where you're headed. And my thoughts went like this. I see where I'm headed. I don't want to end up there. But I've already made, U-turns don't work. I've already made 6 of them. I've already left this man 6 times and come back 6 times, and it's always worse if I do it again, I'm going to die. And so, it's too bad I'm going to die this way. That was my attitude. It's too bad I'm going to die this way because I don't know what else I can do. But she had my attention. And the very next thing she said was, if you're going down the road and you see you don't like where you're going to end up, just make a little shift in direction. 10 degrees, 1 degree, just a little shift in direction. And a mile down the road, you're in a whole new place. You're in a whole new place just from making little shifts in direction. And I went, oh my God, I can do that. I can do little shifts in direction. And the pressure was taken off. So I continued watching. I watched the whole program. And it was so, I don't have time to go into everything, but it was life-changing. We'll just say that. It was life-changing. And I still use that shift in direction thing regarding everything. So I do it in reverse now. This is where I want to end up. And if I make this choice, where's it going to take me? Is it going to take me somewhere where I want to go? Or is it going to take me off in the weeds, in distraction and self-doubt and beating up on myself because I didn't get to where I wanted to go? So works either way. So that was one thing. I'm just going to go into a couple of others because there was a lot. There was a lot, but I'm limited. My time is limited. So I'm going to nutshell this story. Fast forward 9 months from the day I saw that TV program. June 26th of 2000, I was climbing up the steps of a Greyhound bus and I was running for my life. I was leaving him for the 10th and final time. And I was headed for an unfamiliar city in a state that I had never even been to. I was headed for Phoenix, Arizona. I did not know a soul in Arizona. I knew I was going to be homeless when I got there. And I was really, really scared. And I had spent 9 months using the tools and the practices that I had learned from this woman. I had spent 9 months becoming the version of myself that could walk up the steps of a bus, headed for an unfamiliar city, knowing I'm going to be homeless, and pretty much okay with that, with knowing my ability to handle it. So I'd spent 9 months doing the work, and now here was a real opportunity to apply everything that I had learned about myself and everything that I had learned about how to use this stuff. So the other two things that I want to share right now, my dog's getting ready to bark. Apologies if he does. Fear and faith. Fear and faith are big deals, especially when you're working on creating something that's outside your comfort zone. So I was what I was aiming for, my chosen destination in life, I didn't have a good picture for that because had never ever thought big in my life. And I had decided I just want to learn how to live happy. That was my goal. That was my goal at that time. I just want to learn how to live happy because I had never experienced real happiness without a bunch of fear involved. So that was my goal. That was my chosen destination, was a life in which I've learned how to live happy. And so one of the things that I did on the bus was, I said fear and faith. but I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this too because it's so important. When I was on the bus, I was doing a lot of inner work, and I came upon inside my own self one of the most powerful things I've ever done for myself, and it's something that I continue to do to this day. I asked myself, if I knew how to live happy, if I just knew how to be a happy person, how would I be doing this? If I was a person who knew how to live happy, how would I be doing this? And that question can be asked in a whole bunch of different ways. If I knew how to, one of the ways that I did it, if I knew how to love myself, how would I be doing this? If I was a woman who actually loved myself, who would I be being in conversation with this young man behind the counter? Or whatever. If I knew how to love myself, how would I be doing this? Who would I be being as I'm living this moment? If I knew how to be a positive person, because I never had, I was a complete drama queen. If I knew how to be a positive person, how would I be doing this? Oh my God, so powerful. And now, if I knew how to focus, if I knew how to stay focused on what I'm working on right now and not get all distracted, if I was a person who knew how to focus, how would I be doing this? It can be used for anything. It can be if I was a person whose health was important to her, how would I be doing this? How would I be eating this thing that I'm eating? Would I be laying on the couch watching TV, or would I be going out for a walk? Like I said, can be used for anything. Fear and faith, getting myself up the steps of the bus. William Shakespeare said, "Our doubts are traitors and make us lose the good we oft might win by fearing to attempt." So the question is, if I'm too afraid to try this, what am I going to lose? What am I going to lose? Or if I can get myself to do it, what can I potentially win? Our doubts are traitors and make us lose the good we oft might win by fearing to attempt. If I'm too afraid to do something that's going to get me outside my comfort zone, what am I going to lose? Well, the answer to that question back then was, I'm going to lose my life, and I'm going to lose it at the hands of a man who says he loves me. That was unacceptable to me. So what am I going to win? I don't know. Right now, I'm just going to win an opportunity to see what's possible for me. Oh, it makes my mouth water. Makes my mouth water just thinking about it, because what happened after, I wish I had time to tell the whole story. I don't have time. It's documented. You can find it on my website. Um, um, anyway, I just completely distracted myself. Woohoo! So at that time, I just wanted to learn how to live happy. So everything that I was experiencing was an opportunity for me to choose to put on the mind of the happy version of me. If I knew how to be a happy person, how would I be doing this? I lived in that question. And I always got a good answer. I always got a good, and the answer that I always got was always something different from what the person that I was before would have gotten, or it was always different from the choice that I made as a result, was always very different from what my previous choices would have been. So, our doubts are traitors and make us lose the good we oft might win by fearing to attempt. Okay, I know I don't want to let my fear get the best of me. How? How do I not let my fear get the best of me? Well, I step forward with faith in myself. I step forward with faith and life. Well, how do I do that? Martin Luther King said, take the first step in faith. You don't have to see the whole staircase. Just take the step. You don't have to see the whole staircase. You don't have to know what's going to happen next. Just take what happens next and roll with it. And oh my God, talk about creating an interesting life. Holy moly. I did it that way. When I was climbing up the steps of that bus, I was saying that quote out loud to myself. Just take this step. Just take this step in faith. Just take this step with faith in myself. I don't have to know what's going to happen next. All I have to know is that I can handle whatever happens next. I had faith. I'm not talking Christian faith. I'm talking faith in myself, faith in life, faith in, the universe, the friendly universe. Albert Einstein said, the most important question you can ever ask yourself is this: is the universe friendly? I had started looking for my friendly universe within a domestic violence relationship, and I had gotten really good at seeing it, at finding it even in the icky stuff. And so faith in a friendly universe was something that I tuned into, that I kept my focus on. I want to take my steps with faith, in faith, with faith that things can work out fine. And so that's what I did. So I got off the bus in Phoenix 2 days later, a completely different person, still homeless at the Greyhound station in Phoenix. I'm homeless. I had a backpack and a duffel bag and $80 in my pocket. I had no job prospects, no place to live. 21 days later, I had the best job I'd ever had in my life, making more money than I'd ever made in my life. I had money in my pockets. I had a place to live. And I had already met the man that I am now married to. And we're still together 23 years later. So this stuff, apply it in your life. Apply it in the way that makes sense to you, in the way that will help you with your forward movement, with getting to the destination where you would like to end up. If you continue down the road you're on, you're going to end up where you're headed. Where do you want to end up? Take those steps. Use those tools. Use all the tools that anybody has ever shared with you. Apply them. That's the hardest part, is remembering to apply them in the moment. But we can all do it. I firmly believe that we can all do it. I hope you have found this recording, this talk, this story. I hope you found it useful. If you would like to know more, or if you would like to join me in my community, you can find me at Sandra Daly, DALY.com. You can get in touch with me if you'd like at sandradaly.com. I'm on Facebook and all that stuff. If you go to my website, you'll see the links to all that. It's been a treat to do this, just kind of out of the blue. But I'm happy. I'm happy to have been able to. So decide what's important to you, and then take steps in that direction, and be willing to savor everything that happens in response. Some of it might not be very much fun, but a lot of it will be fun. And the not very much fun stuff is usually the stuff that moves us forward the quickest. So, Sandra Daly here. Hope to see you, in other places. And with that, Have a good one. Bye.